Welcome, traveler of stories. Step into a time before time, when the sky was unclaimed, and ancient whispers drifted over mountains, seas, and endless winds. This tale is not of battle or thunder striking in anger. It is a journey of memory, of secrets, of voices hidden deep within the folds of eternity. At its heart stands Zeus, ruler of Olympus, his name carried on the wind like a promise of order, light, and a new dawn for gods and mortals alike. Yet even the greatest of kings carries questions within. One night, beneath shifting stars, Zeus dreamed of voices far older than the Olympians themselves. These voices did not cry for freedom or vengeance. They whispered of balance, harmony, and truths concealed beneath the surface of the living world. And so, a mystery began. What became of the Titans, the mighty ones who ruled before the gods? Were they gone? Or hidden in silence, waiting to be heard again? Tonight, dear listener, we follow Zeus. His search will lead him between thunder and shadow, where the forgotten voices of the past stir once more. Long before Olympus sang with the voices of gods, there was silence. Not empty silence, but a deep hush, as though the cosmos itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to be born. In that silence, the Titans walked. They were vast and ancient, steady as mountains, patient as seas, shaping rivers, stars, and the rhythm of the newborn world. The Titans were never truly forgotten. Their presence lingered in forests, in the tide's song, in thunder rolling before the storm, quiet but always near. When Zeus rose to power, the world brightened with his thunder. He was a god of order, of promise. His lightning, a voice that gave mortals awe, comfort, and the sense of a steady hand above. Yet even kings carry questions in their hearts. Zeus looked from Olympus and felt something missing, as if creation's melody lacked a note he could almost hear but not touch. One twilight, he sat in stillness. The constellations shifted as if alive, weaving new shapes, telling stories never seen before, their light flickering like whispers. And in the quiet, Zeus heard it. A whisper, not of man or god, but older, deeper, carried on the breath of time itself. It spoke no words, yet it stirred memory forces that had once shaped stone, sea, and sky. Do not forget us, it seemed to breathe. We are not lost, we are waiting. The stars bent into vast figures, titans drawn across the heavens, ancient outlines stretching from horizon to horizon. Zeus rose, the mountain wind tugging at him. This was no dream. It was a call, gentle, unyielding, alive, with the weight of ages. Where were they now, the first guardians of the world? Had they vanished, or had they chosen silence, hiding truths too deep for gods or mortals to see? The question unsettled him, for if the Titans lingered unseen, what wisdom did they still guard, and why had it been kept from the living world? Zeus placed his hand on a stone. It thrummed beneath his touch, vibrating softly, like a voice that had never been silenced, only waiting to be heard. He felt the same pulse in the sea, in the wind, in the beat of his own heart. The whispers were everywhere, carried in the bones of the world. And Zeus made a vow. He would not let the old voices fade. He would follow the whisper to its source. Listen and remember, for power without memory is hollow, and rule without roots is built on sand. Thus begins his journey. Not a conquest, not a war, but a path of remembrance, where the whispers of the old world rise once more. The story of Zeus is often told in thunder. People imagine lightning splitting the sky, his voice rolling like clouds, but his rise was slower, quieter, filled with questions. In youth, Zeus looked upon the world with restless eyes. He saw mountains unyielding, oceans untamed, and wondered if the power in his hands was enough to guide such a vast creation. The Olympians looked to him as leader. Hera urged him to be steady. Poseidon pushed him toward boldness, and Athena counseled him with calm wisdom. Their voices shaped him, yet he still felt alone. The weight of the heavens pressed on his shoulders, and he asked, "What is rule if one does not understand the roots of creation?" Zeus often walked Olympus in solitude. From its heights, he saw golden fields, deep forests, silver rivers, beauty that awed him but filled him with unease. This was not a world made by gods alone. It was older, built by hands and hearts before Olympus ever rose. He remembered childhood whispers, fragments of an older order, stories of titans, some said banished, some vanished, their truth left unspoken. Even the Olympians avoided their name. It was like smoke in the air, seen only when caught in light. One night, Zeus stood by a dying fire. In its crackle he imagined ancient voices, not angry or vengeful, but steady tones, speaking of balance deeper than crowns. He closed his hand and felt thunder spark. This gift was his alone. Yet he wondered if lightning alone could guide a world older than his reign. Zeus did not want to rule by fear. He longed to rule through harmony. Strength tempered with understanding. He searched for wisdom beyond Olympus. He listened to rivers, patient in their flow. He studied birds, free across the endless sky. He felt the heartbeat of the earth, steady beneath mountains and valleys. Every lesson whispered the same truth. Power without balance is hollow. Still, the question remained. Where were the titans? If gone, why did their echo live within him? If silenced, why did the stars draw their shapes in the sky? To rise as a true leader, Zeus knew what he must do. Not conquer, not command, but listen. For thunder rules the skies, but wisdom rules the ages. His rise was no sudden triumph. It was the shaping of heart and spirit, a journey of becoming. Zeus was not only a king of thunder, he was a seeker of voices, listening to gods, to mortals, and to echoes older still. The rise of Zeus was not just a crown one. It was the awakening of a god who knew the silence of the old world held answers yet to come. And with each passing night, the call of the hidden titans grew stronger. The night was still, the heavens glowing with silver fire. Zeus lay on Olympus, heavy with thought, eyes closing, seeking rest, though his mind refused to sleep. Dreams came, vivid and deep. Not gentle drifting, but visions pulling him elsewhere. He walked a cavern vast as the sky, its walls alive with ancient light, each step echoing like thunder. The air hummed with power, not his own, but older, steadier, the heartbeat of the cosmos itself. Then came the voices, faint at first, like wind in distant trees, then rising, filling the cavern. They spoke without words, pressing meaning into his heart. Child of thunder, bearer of the sky's crown, do you remember the shadows before? Shapes stirred on the cavern walls, vast figures of stone and flame, alive like constellations. The titans, they came not in anger, nor bound in chains, but as memory, guardians of truth refusing to fade. One voice rose above the rest, solemn and deep. We are not gone. We are hidden. We rest in silence, waiting for the one who will listen. The cavern pulsed with light, alive with the breath of ages. Zeus longed to ask them why they had withdrawn, where they were, but awe silenced him. The voices carried on. Power is flame. Memory is its hearth. Without it, fire consumes. With it, fire endures. The words struck deep. He wielded thunder, commanded storms, yet memory, this he had never considered, though he felt its truth. The cavern shifted, carrying him to its heart. Before him lay a still pool, reflecting not his face, but the faces of titans. They gazed without anger or praise, only waiting. He touched the water, and visions stirred, rivers flowing, trees rising, mortals building, children laughing. The world lived not by gods alone, but upon the foundations titans had laid. Do not forget us, the voices whispered again. Do not build without roots. Do not reign without remembrance. The cavern dimmed, the figures fading back into stone. The last words lingered. When you are ready, seek us. We are waiting. Zeus awoke, gasping beneath the cold glitter of stars. He thought he saw their outlines traced across the sky, giant shadows drawn in starlight. His heart thundered. The dream had been no dream, but a summons, a message carried through sleep's veil. He still felt the echo within his chest, a whisper older than lightning. Zeus knew his path had changed. He would no longer rule only by thunder. He would seek the hidden voices, the secrets buried in silence. Without them, his crown was incomplete. The dream became a promise, a secret vow, guiding him toward the forgotten, the hidden titans. The dawn came soft and golden, its rays stretching across Olympus. Yet Zeus did not greet the day with certainty. The dream lingered like mist, shaping his every thought. He walked the mountain heights in silence, replaying the cavern, the voices, the pool of still water. Though the world sang with light, a quiet weight pressed beneath it all. Something hidden, something waiting. Zeus was no stranger to omens. The skies often spoke through thunder and lightning, their fire shaping prophecy. But this was different. This was not the will of the skies alone. It was the memory of the earth itself. Seeking clarity, Zeus descended to the forests at Olympus's base. The trees rose skyward, yet their strength lay in roots deep and unseen. As he walked, he felt their whispers in the wind. He paused, laying his hand against an ancient oak. Its bark was rough, its branches sprawling wide, its trunk scarred with age. Beneath his touch, he felt memory, slow, patient, older than Olympus, older than his throne. The ground hummed, steady and low, the same heartbeat he had felt in the dream. The voices had not ended. They now spoke through stone and soil, through root and branch. Zeus, the earth whispered, gentle but firm. Thunder may crown the sky, but do not forget the ground upon which all stands. The forest seemed alive, carrying the words through leaves, streams, and soil. Strength without memory falters. Power without roots breaks. Zeus stood still, humbled. He had thought himself the axis of all things. But here, he felt the vastness beneath him. The titans were not gone. They were woven into the world itself. The wind stirred, carrying the scent of rain. The ground seemed to breathe. In that breath, Zeus sensed not threat but guidance. The titans called not for battle, nor for chains to break. They called for remembrance, for balance. Zeus pressed his palm into the soil. It was cool, patient, steady, unlike storms that lived and died in moments. Images filled his mind. Mountains rising, rivers carving valleys, forests spreading wide. The work of ages. The voices returned, steady and clear. Do not fear us, child of thunder. We are not shadows to haunt you. We are roots, hidden but living. Without us, the sky you rule would fall. The words sank deep into his heart. For the first time, Zeus felt not pride, but humility. The silence that followed was rich, alive with presence. Zeus rose slowly, dusted with soil. He knew this was no chance, no dream alone. The earth had chosen to speak. The whispers faded, but the truth remained. Power was not enough to rule in truth. He must listen to the thunder above and the whispers below. The forest seemed different as he turned back. Every tree was a keeper of memory. Every stone bore the weight of time. Every breeze carried echoes of unseen voices. Zeus walked on, heart steady. The earth had spoken. The path was unfolding, step by step, guiding him to the hidden titans. The day wore on, but Zeus could not escape the weight of the voices. He had dreamed of titans, heard the whispers of the earth, and now his heart was divided between sky and soil. Standing atop Olympus, he looked to the horizon. The winds were restless, circling as if carrying secrets. He had always known the language of storms, but today the wind spoke differently. It came not as a roar, but soft, steady, like a messenger bearing truth. He closed his eyes and listened with more than ears. The wind carried voices, faint yet insistent, like distant calls across mountains. Not mortal cries, nor godly shouts, but older, like echoes left by time itself. Zeus, the wind whispered, curling around him. You carry the thunder, but thunder is only one song in the greater chorus. His cloak fluttered, his hair lifted by unseen hands. The sky was bright, yet shadowed with memory. The voices rose and fell with the gusts. At times they were whole words, at times only fragments scattered across clouds. But the meaning was clear. Not all silence is absence, not all absence is loss. The earth had whispered the Titans were not gone. Now the wind echoed the same truth. They were hidden, yet present, like roots unseen, like air felt but invisible. Zeus stretched his hand into the air. The wind coiled around his palm, alive, slipping through his fingers. Mortals breathed this same wind every moment. Unseen, yet essential. Could the Titans be the same? Unseen, but essential? The gusts grew stronger, carrying scents of seas, of hearths, of blooming fields. The wind bore the memory of the whole world, touching all, binding all. It was every place at once. Listen, the voices urged, not to power alone, but to harmony. Not to rule alone, but to balance. His chest tightened as if the air pressed against him. He had thought the sky was his alone, endless and storm-bound. Now he knew it was shared. Every breath, every whisper, every echo belonged to all. He opened his eyes. Birds rode the wind, trusting unseen paths. Mortals set sails, letting the wind bear them across seas they could not master alone. The wind gave without demand, carried without pride, simply moving, connecting all. The lesson was clear. The Titans, like the wind, had not vanished. They were part of the weave, unseen yet binding. Memory carried in silence. A final gust wrapped him in strength, fierce yet kind. Do not forget, it said. Thunder is power, wind is memory. Together they form the song of the world. The air grew calm, resting like a gentle hand. Zeus breathed deeply, feeling small and vast at once. The wind had spoken truth, as the earth had before. The Titans were not lost. They lived in elements, hidden in silence, alive in echoes. Zeus lowered his hand, knowing the journey was far from over. The dream had opened the path. The earth had whispered roots. The wind carried echoes. Step by step, the truth unfolded. He turned to the horizon, eyes steady, heart resolved. The wind tugged at his cloak, urging him onward, and Zeus walked forward, into the mystery of the hidden Titans. The days after the whispers of the wind left Zeus restless. Each element had spoken, weaving truths he could not ignore. First came the dream, then the earth, then the wind. Now, the waters called to him. A river wound its way through the valley below Olympus. Small compared to the seas, yet endless in its flow. One evening, Zeus descended into the valley. The sun painted the horizon with fire and gold. The river lay silent, smooth as glass. But its silence was not empty. It was waiting, patient, alive. Zeus knelt at the water's edge. He touched the surface, ripples spreading outward. The river spoke without words. It spoke in rhythm, in flow, in silence. Flow, it seemed to say. Always flow. Even when blocked, it curved and found a way. It did not fight. It endured. Zeus saw his reflection shimmer, bend, and reform. Am I the stone? He wondered. Or the river? The river whispered of Titans, hidden yet flowing, unseen yet shaping the world. Like rivers carving valleys, they endured. Strength was not thunder alone. Strength could be patience. Strength could be persistence. Zeus dipped his hand once more. The water pressed against his skin, cool and unstoppable. It could not be held. It could not be claimed. The river spoke of balance. Too much force, and it would flood. Too little, and it would vanish. To flow was to endure. The stars rose, reflecting in the dark water. Silence was not emptiness. Silence was memory. Zeus lingered through the night. The river taught him what thunder could not. That silence speaks. That endurance shapes. That the hidden never disappears. By dawn, he rose from the bank. He carried now 4 truths. The dream, the earth, the wind, and the river. Each a piece of the whole. The Titans were not lost. They lived in air, in soil, in water, in silence. Zeus turned toward Olympus. The river's lesson would stay with him. To flow is to live. To endure is to be eternal. Guided by the silent river, Zeus stepped into the dawn. The dawn after Zeus left the river was quiet. His heart carried new questions, shaped by earth, wind, and water. Yet he felt a piece was missing, a truth still hidden, waiting to rise. On Olympus, the hearth fires burned steady. Mortals below lit their torches against the night. Flames flickered as fragile guardians of warmth and life. Fire was unlike the river or the wind. It was alive, bright, eager, consuming, and protective. Zeus stood before a flame, watching it dance. It moved as if trying to speak. Fire demanded attention, light in the dark, warmth in the cold. Yet it was fragile. A breath could end it. He stared deeper, and the world blurred. Shadows stirred within the flame. The fire remembered, holding echoes of the past. Each spark carried the essence of what it touched. Zeus reached his hand toward its warmth. The flame whispered through heat and smoke. "I am memory," it seemed to say. "I hold what has been and pass it forward." Destruction was not its only gift. Fire preserved, transformed, carried what once was. He thought of the Titans. Could they live on as sparks of memory? Not gone, but reshaped, alive in warmth and light? The flame flared higher, shadows stretching like giants. Presence and absence, both held in fire. He leaned closer, seeing stories within the glow. Mortals huddled for warmth. Sacrifices rose from altars. Tales were told in the glow of firelight. Fire was more than element. It was connection, binding past to present. "The Titans live here too," Zeus whispered. "They burn within the sparks we carry forward." The flame crackled softly in reply, but it also warned him. Left untended, fire consumed without thought. Memory could do the same. Too fierce, it blinded. Too heavy, it smothered the present. Balance was the lesson. Fire must be tended. Memory must be guided. Only then could both give light, not ruin. Zeus closed his eyes, feeling its warmth. He sensed something vast, timeless, alive. The Titans were carried in dream, in earth, in air, in water. Now they burned within fire. Each element, a voice, a piece of the whole. When he opened his eyes, dawn had come. The flame glowed steady, no longer fierce. A quiet keeper of memory. Zeus stood taller, his strength renewed. Not only thunder, but wisdom. Not only power, but memory. He looked to the mountains beyond Olympus. The world was vast, full of hidden voices, but he no longer feared silence. He no longer doubted echoes, for within every spark, the Titan still lived. With memory burning in his heart, Zeus stepped forward. The path stretched onward, alive with promise. The night stretched vast above Olympus, a tapestry of stars alive with quiet breath. Zeus stood in silence, his gaze fixed upward, waiting for the voice not yet heard. It came not in thunder or storm, but in stillness, carried by the endless sky. The heavens whispered with a weight that pressed deep upon his heart. The lament was soft, patient, heavy with sorrow, woven into the night. Zeus closed his eyes and felt the silence sink into his soul. The stars shimmered like ancient eyes, eternal watchers of forgotten truths. He sensed their grief, vast and unbroken, stretching across the cosmos. The lament spoke without words. "I hold the silence of ages. The sky mourned not power, but the world's forgetting." Across the constellations, visions rippled titans, walking among stars. Their light lingered, etched into patterns of memory and story. The heavens revealed themselves as a library of sorrow and wonder. Each star a page, each constellation a reminder of what was. The Titans remain, the silence whispered, hidden in light, alive in memory. Zeus opened his eyes, seeing patterns where once he saw only flames. Giants stretched across the constellations, silent but undeniable. The lament was not despair, but a reminder to remember. Silence does not mean absence, and memory does not die. Zeus breathed deeply, starlight settling on his skin like truth. The Titans were not gone. They endured within the sky's lament. Dawn touched the horizon, the stars fading but not lost. Zeus knew they would return, eternal keepers of hidden stories. The lament became hope, waiting for any willing to listen. He stood taller, his heart steadier, guided by sky and stars. The voice of the heavens joined earth, wind, river, and flame. Each truth, each element added to the whole. The lament was a call to gods, mortals, and the world alike, to listen, to remember, to see what is hidden, and carry it forward. The sky's song lingered, soft and steady, within Zeus's heart. The Titans remained alive in memory, eternal in silence. And with that truth, Zeus stepped forward into what awaited him. The sky's lament lingered in Zeus's heart. As dawn lit the world, he carried it with him, each step echoing the weight of memory. The Titans were hidden, not gone, alive in silence and truth. Yet the question pressed him, where would the path lead now? The earth had whispered, the winds had sung, the river had flowed, the flame had revealed, the sky had mourned. But something still called to him, unseen yet unbroken. It was not a voice, but a thread pulling at his spirit. He followed, trusting the hidden road that unfolded beneath his feet. It wound through valleys, across forests, and over quiet hills. The world seemed alive in a way he had never noticed before. Leaves rustled with meaning. Clouds shifted like storytellers in the sky. Even the hum of bees carried whispers of something greater. He walked with patience, leaving thunder and storm behind. He listened, letting each step be a question, each moment an answer. The path revealed itself only when he moved forward humbly. Days passed, though time blurred like a waking dream. The weight of his crown seemed to loosen, title fading away. He was no longer king of gods, only a seeker of truth. One evening, as the sun turned the horizon to gold, he arrived. A meadow stretched before him, wrapped in a calm silence. In its center stood an archway of stone, ancient and weathered. It seemed simple, yet pulsed with quiet, undeniable energy. The hidden path had led him here. He felt it in his bones. Zeus touched the stone, closing his eyes in stillness. The world seemed to hold its breath around him. Then came the echo, a deep resonance within his spirit. It told him journeys are not about endings, but remembering. Power was not the goal, but only the guide. The Titans were not hidden to be feared, but to be remembered. Zeus opened his eyes to the meadow glowing in fading light. The archway was not a portal, but a symbol of truth. He did not need to step through. It was enough to find it. The path had led him to understanding, not destination. The hidden path was the journey itself, woven of silence and memory. It asked for no crown, no conquest, only the courage to walk. Zeus turned toward the horizon, endless and vast before him. His journey was not over. It had only deepened. The voices of earth, wind, river, flame, sky, and path sang within him. Together they told him, the Titans endure, alive in memory. The hidden path was life itself, a road of discovery. Each step carried meaning, even for gods. Even Zeus must walk humbly to glimpse what lay beyond power. With steady breath, he stepped forward once more. The path stretched on, unseen yet certain. And though he walked alone, he was never truly alone. The Titans walked with him in silence, in memory, in every step. The hidden path did not end with the meadow or the archway. It pulled Zeus onward, toward the horizon, where land kissed water. The air grew heavy with salt. The ground softened into sand. Before him stretched the endless ocean, breathing like the world itself. Zeus had seen its storms and heard Poseidon's realm before. But today, the ocean waited. He stood at the shore, waves brushing cool against his feet. The ocean did not roar or crash, it whispered. Its voice was low and secret, carried in every tide. Zeus stilled his mind and listened deeply. Within the waves, he heard ancient echoes, not gods, not mortals, Titans, speaking through the sea. The ocean remembered. It carried their reflections and their power. Every wave a memory, every tide a story. Zeus closed his eyes and saw visions. Oceanus circled the horizon like a silver band. Tethys watched with eyes like rolling tides. The sea did not mourn or hide them. It kept them alive, flowing in secret below. The ocean's secret was a promise. Nothing is lost. The world itself carries memory forward, waiting to be heard. Zeus felt humbled at the water's edge. Power was not command alone. It was listening, receiving, being shaped as much as shaping. The waves urged him deeper. He stepped into the sea, cool water wrapping around him. The Titan's voices flowed through the currents. They spoke of cycles, rise and fall, and balance. The sea takes and gives, retreats and returns, never lost, always whole. Zeus bowed his head, embraced by the ocean. Its secret was not for him alone. It was for all gods, mortals, titans alike. To remember is to honor. To listen is to belong. To carry the past is to shape the future. When he returned to shore, the ocean stayed vast, but its truth flowed within him like a steady tide. The hidden path had led him here, and memory was its gift. Not a weight, but a current that transforms. The sun sank, painting gold across the sea. Voices of earth, wind, river, flame, sky, path, and ocean sang within him. The Titans were not shadows or chains. They were memory, alive in every element, in every silence, in every tide. With calm strength, Zeus stepped from the shore. The ocean's secret remained with him, guiding the road ahead. The ocean's secret lingered as Zeus walked inland once more. The tide had left him with a gift. Memory flowed through all things. The hidden path whispered there was still more to discover. The land shifted from sand to rugged stone. Mountains rose in the distance, veiled in mist and shadow. The path narrowed into rocky passageways leading into the earth. His footsteps echoed against the walls, steady and alone. The air grew cooler, heavier, as though the mountain held its breath. Sunlight faded until only a pale glow remained. Step by step, Zeus descended into the mountain's heart. Before him yawned a cavern mouth, vast and dark. It gave no sound, only silence, heavy and waiting. Silence pressed against him, not absence, but presence. He stepped inside, feeling its weight upon him. The walls glistened with minerals like scattered stars. Stalactites and stalagmites stood as patient sentinels. The deeper he walked, the thicker silence became. It was as if the world itself had stopped to listen. Zeus closed his eyes, hearing not words but stillness. Silence was memory, hidden yet alive in stone. The Titans lingered here, resting, unseen but present, not roaring, not crying, waiting in quiet refuge. Zeus placed his hand on the cold stone wall. A vision came. Titans seated deep within earth, eyes closed, strength not gone, but stilled in silence. They had chosen stillness, not defeat. Power could live in patience, not only thunder. Silence itself was a force, enduring and whole. Not all truths belong to words. Some live in the spaces between. Zeus stood in awe, humbled by their presence. Without their quiet strength, the earth would crumble. He whispered, "I will not forget." The cavern responded with a deep resonance. Stone and bone alike vibrated with his promise. Outside, the mountains stood tall against the sky, but their secret was clear. The Titans endured within. The hidden path neared its end. Each step carried him closer to truth. Earth, wind, river, flame, sky, path, ocean, silence, all bore the same message. The Titans were not gone. They remained hidden, waiting in the quiet places, not to rise in anger, but to remind the world the past still breathes. Silence speaks as thunder does. Zeus carried this lesson as he left the mountain. Silence was not burden, but strength, steady as stone. It guided him onward toward the final truth. The path was almost finished. Zeus could feel it in his bones. Every step, earth, wind, river, flame, sky, path, ocean, silence, had led him here. The journey was no longer discovery. It was transformation. The path curved upward toward a summit hidden in mist. The air grew thin, charged, as if the heavens waited. Each step felt heavy, yet lighter, as though lifted forward. At the summit, no throne or battlefield awaited him. Instead, a circle of stone stood, ancient and weathered. In its center burned a flame, steady and alive. It was not destruction, but light, calm, and enduring. Zeus stepped close, the warmth brushing against him. Within the flame, visions stirred, alive and clear. He saw titans, vast and timeless, shaping the world. He saw gods rise, mortals live, rivers flow, stars turn. All was connected, a tapestry woven of memory. The flame pulsed, showing Zeus his own reflection. He was not just thunder or king of Olympus. He was guardian of memory, a voice among voices. Power was not apart from titans, it was born with them. His rule came not from their fall, but their endurance. The flame whispered balance, silence, and song, past and present. The titans were never gone, they lived in every breath. Zeus bowed his head, reverent, not defeated. The vision deepened, showing futures yet to come. Gods and mortals walked together, bound in fate. Storms rose, skies cleared, rivers healed, fears renewed, and silence carried memory stronger than time itself. The titans stood within it all, steady and present. The flame glowed brighter, surrounding him in light. For a moment, he was part of the great weave. The hidden path gave its last gift, unity. When the vision faded, the flame still burned steady. Zeus carried not thunder alone, but memory. He stepped back, the summit wind brushing cool. Below stretched mountains, oceans, forests, skies alive. All whispered with the echoes of the titans. Zeus smiled, rare and quiet, knowing his role. To lead was also to listen, to honor, to remember. The hidden titans were companions, not shadows. Their strength was also his own, alive in him. The path had ended, but the journey continued. The world kept turning, breathing, whispering, and in every whisper, the titans endured. Zeus turned toward Olympus, flame warm in his heart. The final vision would guide him forevermore. The titans were not gone. They were here, always, in silence, in song, in the soul of the world. The story closed not with an end, but a beginning. Memory endures, and in memory the titans live.